Well, greetings, library users. Originally, this was just going to be a library haul kind of video where I dump out my bag and tell you what I got from the library, but I felt like this first time, at least, I had to do a little more because I do something that might seem a little unusual to a lot of people. I check out a lot of CDs from the library. Now, I know this is unusual because, well, I can see the stats, but also because I get it. Like, CDs are not super practical for a lot of people anymore. Most cars don't have a CD player. Finding a CD player for home isn't exactly as easy as it once was. And it's kind of started to feel like, CDs kind of occupy that same space as vinyl record players. You know what I mean? It's something that really seems to be only for people who are super into music and like to talk about things like the warmth or the pops and hisses or whatever. These sort of sonic qualities that honestly I can't hear. But I think CDs are awesome. And I don't think they're as impractical as you might perceive them to be at first blush. And I just want to tell you a little bit about where I see the advantages of them kind of overcoming the impracticality here and there. I do use Spotify a lot. I stream music. I'm even an ad-free subscriber because, well, if you've listened to it, you know why. But something I missed in the last decade or so is the close relationship I used to have with a smaller number of CDs that I used to own. You see, kids, back in the day, if you had, 25 CDs, that was a pretty good wealth of music. I would say that was a pretty average number of CDs for like a teenager to have. And it might sound like a fair number of albums, but imagine, if you will, that you could only listen to songs from those 25 albums. Whatever was available on the CDs you had, that was the whole of your listening options. I mean, if you want to try and replicate that today, make yourself a list of 25 albums that you really like. Just listen to that.
None of you seem to understand. I'm not locked in here with you. You're locked in here with me.
Of course, there's a downside to that, right? Like, it's nice today. I can hear about a band, jump online and listen to them almost instantly. Or I can dip into something and see if it's for me or not. But I think what's lost is that I used to have a closer relationship with the music that I did have. When I listened to an album like Nirvana Unplugged, I could not only sing along to every song, I could mumble along to Kurt Cobain's talk between the songs. This is off our first record. Most people don't own it. I listened to some of the same CDs so many times that it built in my head these theories about which songs tend to be the best, Like 1 or 2 was usually good, kind of gets you into it. 4 almost always seemed to be a banger to me. And I will admit that there were some CDs with songs I didn't love, but I eventually came to appreciate those songs because, you might as well listen to all the way through. And even if I didn't like them that much, sometimes delaying the best songs made those really great songs seem even a little better. If you put it off for just 2 or 3 minutes, it felt like you earned it somehow. I guess I'm not trying to say that this is necessarily a better way to listen to music, but it's a different way, a way that might change how you feel about some of your favorite artists. When I'm streaming, the temptation is so high to skip a song, even if it's an 8 out of 10, right? Just to get to a song that's a 10 out of 10. Or to skip a song that didn't resonate with me right away, only to discover later that I was very wrong about not being into it. Now, I scored this awesome 100 disc changer at the thrift store. I'm bragging a little bit. I don't have much in my life to brag about, so I'm going to brag about this. But I don't necessarily recommend trying for one of these at the thrift. This is the second one I had to buy in order to find one that actually worked. And the prices for these online are outrageous. And most times, you have to have an external speaker you can wire up to them. It's a pain. It's not, I don't know if it's the entry-level way to listen to CDs. But if you have a CD player or you have easy access to one, here's what I recommend. Hit up the library, paw through all the CDs. There are tons. Take home a whole stack, put them on, and just listen through. Give them some time to grow on you. Really listen. Maybe even listen a couple times to each one. The library having CDs gives you a great chance to give artists a shot. Maybe expand into something you don't know much about, see what the kids are listening to these days, and it doesn't cost you any money, but there's also another savings. I find that I actually listen to more music when I check out CDs because I'm not spending time clicking around Spotify, scrolling through suggestions, searching for something that fits the mood or whatever, and I listen to more new stuff because I find Spotify kind of suggests a lot of the same things to me all the time. When I check out CDs, I throw them on and I just listen to whatever. I don't really think about it very much. I just go whichever CD's next in the pile. I'm not sure if people who grew up with streaming music will like listening to music this way, or maybe they'll hate it. But if you're like me and you remember those days of listening to songs, if you could still remember which tracks on Linkin Park's Hybrid Theory you would skip and which ones you would re-listen to over and over. It's a nice blast from the past. Pick up an album you loved and listen to it all the way through. It kind of takes you back to a different way of interacting with music. Okay, so that's out of the way. So I did get the haul of CDs, and I'm just going to give you a thought or two about each one. I'll tell you that my tastes lean probably more into rock music, metal music, and sort of pop side of metal, I would say. And then just some pop as well. Baby Metal, the other one. Baby Metal is a dope metal band out of Japan, fronted by three ladies who do elaborate choreographed dance routines when they perform. It's kind of like watching NSYNC, but with awesome guitar riffs. They mostly have clean vocals, so Baby Metal is fun to listen to, and if you've always wished you could get some of the shredding of metal without all the gruff growling stuff, give them a try. Of Montreal, Lady on the Cusp. This is a pop rock band. They're on the artsy side, I would say. It's a good one to check out if you have fun with bands like the Flaming Lips. Back with Baby Metal again, because I didn't stack these in order. But this is another great album. I probably prefer the other one more, the album titled The Other One, but this is an extremely charming album, and it warms my melodic metal-loving heart. Steel Panther, live from Lexi's mom's garage. Look, this isn't gonna be for everyone, but Steel Panther is an 80s metal throwback in a lot of ways, including some filthy songs that are about as thinly veiled as a Kraft American cheese single. But if that's your thing, look no further. The Killers, Pressure Machine. The Killers have entered a phase that has some Gaslight Anthem, some Bruce Springsteen qualities to it, and I'm all about it. I don't know if this album has that fist-pumping Mr. Brightside feel to it, and that's cool. I like artists to do some different stuff now and then, and I think the Killers are doing it right. Jason Isbell and the 400 Unit, Georgia Blue. An album of covers of artists who all come out of Georgia. I'm gonna be honest, it's not my favorite Isbell album, and that's because I really dig Isbell's songwriting, but if you want to hook a Pete, a me, starting off with a cover of Night Swimming, that's a pretty safe bet. Fall Out Boy, So Much for Stardust. It's weird, but it feels like these boys haven't lost a step in like 20 years. You know what you're getting with this? And I say that is a very good thing. The Drive-By Truckers, Welcome to Club 13. This is probably the band that's most useless for me to talk about here, just because you either kind of know them already, and if you do, you probably listened to this already, or you have no idea who I'm talking about. And if that's you, I'd start with the album called The Dirty South. That's my personal favorite of theirs, although there are many big frontrunners. This band is kind of the heir to the southern rock storytelling tradition of Lynyrd Skynyrd, and man are they a good time. Bon Iver, Sable Fable. I don't know if anything will ever compare to seeing Bon Iver live in probably 2009 or so. This is my little braggy moment. I was there at the beginning, but I stood in this really small crowd, and you know, they have a lot of weird sounding effects and stuff, and I wondered if it would work live. Holy crap, could it ever. I think this album has fewer standout singles than some of the earlier stuff, but as an overall album-length vibe, it's exactly what you'd hope for. Chapel Roan, Rise and Fall of a Midwest Princess. This feels like an album that was ready to go at the roller rink in the mid-90s, got sucked into a time vortex, and shot out in the last couple years, and that's about the highest praise I can give an album. Youngblood, Idols. Youngblood is a newer artist to me. I recommend checking out his cover of Ozzy's Changes to get an idea of the power of this guy's voice. It is incredible. Thunder, Dopamine. An ambitious double album. It gives me those Meatloaf sort of feelings, something operatic and just big about the whole affair. And that's my haul for this time. Let us know if you like this kind of thing. I'll keep listening and giving you some quick reviews if you enjoy it. Also, if there's an album that's come out that you just want to hear a take on, leave it in the comments.